Have you ever wondered what truly separates a tourist from a traveler? Could it be the curiosity? Maybe that's what separates us. Well, imagine exploring a new land, not as an outsider looking in, but as someone who deeply connects with the heartbeat of its culture. So stick around, guys, because today we're going to uncover why your curiosity about new cultures doesn't just enhance your travel, but it will also transform you. Because today we're going to talk about why being curious about new cultures makes you a better traveler. Before I get into it, guys, if you like these videos, hit that like and subscribe button. Liking and subscribing is the best way to support the videos that I do, and it ensures that I can continue to make videos like this for you guys. And let's make a push to 1,000 followers. Let's get into it. We'll call this Chapter 1, The Power of Culture and Curiosity. Being curious, it kind of pushes you beyond the usual sights. Think of kids. Kids are curious by nature. They see things that they like and they go for it. They love it. Kids love being curious. And that's one thing I love about kids. I always encourage kids to be curious. Curiosity, it compels you to ask questions and to maybe try some dish that you've never tried before, especially when you're traveling. And curiosity will make you embrace local customs that you might kind of feel like at first are kind of weird maybe, and maybe a little bit intimidating. But remember the first time you tasted food you couldn't pronounce or danced to the music you never heard before? How did that make you feel? Did it change the way you saw yourself as a traveler? Perfect example of this is when I went to the Fiesta in Calibo here in the Philippines. It was in January this year. I tried all kinds of new street food. I tried this street food where they basically deep fry a jalapeno pepper with cheese, and it's stuffed with some other things. It's really, really good. I can't remember what it was called. And there was street dancing out in the streets. It was so fun. I wore a traditional hat. I don't know what it's called. It's not really a hat, but it's a traditional Filipino thing. I was out there street dancing and having fun, having a good time, drinking a lot. The Red Horse here in the Philippines, that Red Horse will kick your ass. It's a beer. And for my friends who like to drink heavy liquor and stuff and whiskey and bourbon like me, I love to drink bourbon. I'm from Kentucky. Of course, I love bourbon. For my friends who like that, and you're probably thinking something like, oh, it's just beer. It can't be that bad. I thought that too. And every time I drink it, I think that. I don't know why my brain just is like, it'll be different this time. I'm used to it. But it's not. Every time, if you drink too much Red Horse or you drink a lot of Red Horse, it's going to kick you. That's something I love about the Filipino tradition. About their alcohol, it can be strong and it's very cheap. So is their Tanduay, which is typically what I drink at the festival. It's hot outside. People are on the street selling beer and water and stuff. And there's nothing better than a nice ice cold beer while you're out in the heat. But I got to do stuff like that. I didn't feel comfortable at first. A lot of you know that I don't feel comfortable around a lot of people. It's just there's something in me that compels me not to be around a lot of people. I don't like to be touched, that kind of stuff, especially at nighttime. And it got nighttime. Fiesta was still going at nighttime. But once I got in it, I loved it. I remember telling my fiance and her brother that I will never like this. I'm positive that this is just something that I'll go because you want me to experience, but I'm not going to like it. And I ended up loving it. I was in the middle doing street dances too. I did videoke. By the time I was doing videoke out in the streets where everybody was around, I was already really, really drunk because I would never do that. I barely remember doing the videoke. I was that close to just blacking out finally. But the videos helped. They brought back that memory. Other than that, though, I don't remember a whole lot. But I had fun. And that's because I put put myself into that situation. And now, chapter 2, there's stories from travelers who have embraced curiosity. Let me share some stories from fellow travelers whose curiosity led to incredible experiences. This is just a few little stories. Like Sarah. Sarah ended up going to a traditional wedding in India. Or Mark, he learned some of the ancient crafts of the tribal elders in Africa. And they both had so much fun. You're learning how to make new creations. You're seeing what it's like to be at a wedding that you've never been to, that type of wedding. So what do these stories reveal? They kind of tell us that it speaks to how curiosity creates connections, and it breaks barriers, and it builds meaningful relationships with locals. And it enriches the traveler's experience far beyond the standard sightseeing. And that's another thing you guys know about me. I don't just do sightseeing. I like to put myself in the middle of the culture. I like to try and understand people and the society that they live in. And you learn a lot from that. You learn things that you may not know otherwise. And that's a good thing. It's good to learn those lessons because we're all connected in some way. I like to look at humanity like a spider web. And a spider web is delicately woven together by the spider. Each link could represent maybe a different culture, a different idea, a different country, but they all work together to form this one beautiful web. And if you start to cut off those links one by one, that web will start to fall apart. That's why I like to learn about other cultures, because I see humanity as just one big web that works together to better each other. I don't like to cut off other cultures. I tend to be more politically libertarian and maybe tend to be more on the right than the left, but that doesn't mean I don't respect cultures that tend to not be so libertarian. They tend to be more on the left, or they tend to be more authoritarian. A prime example of this is China. I don't support the government in China at all. I would never live in a country that has a government like what China has. However, I know that the people in China are doing the best they can. They're trying to live their life. They want peace. It doesn't matter what everyone tells you. The people in China want peace too. The government, governments fight each other and whatnot. And I was in the military. I know how it is. I know the politics. But people in China are all over the world. We're all basically the same. We just want peace. We just want to live our life to the best of our ability and take care of one another. For the most part, that's how humanity is. That's how I see the world. I know not everybody does, but that's personally how I do. Chapter 3. Let's look at the impact of culture curiosity on your travel skills. Being curious doesn't just expand your knowledge. It actually improves your practical travel skills. It sharpens your communication, and it'll deepen your empathy, and it'll boost your adaptability. All those things are things that you're going to need when you travel anyhow. So being curious helps bring that out. You got to have empathy, and curiosity brings empathy, because if you're curious, especially if you're curious about human nature, which I am, one of my first degrees was psychology. If you're curious about human nature and human behavior, you try to understand why people do the things they do. What makes them act or behave this way? I'm more of the kind of person who tries to look at motives and to understand the why. I know a lot of people don't like that as much, but I do. I focus a lot on the why. And it's important, and that'll develop empathy. As you continue to travel and you understand why people do what they do, you'll have more empathy for humanity. Of course, being curious can lead you down certain paths where you have to be able to adapt. You might learn something new that contradicts what you thought before. And there's different ways that people deal with that. There comes this cognitive dissonance, and you either incorporate what you've learned, or you just outright reject it, or you have to let go of what you believed previously and believe what the new information that you've got. That makes you very adaptable. You have to adapt to new information all the time. And curiosity does that. And you have to be adaptable to be able to travel, because when you go to other cultures, you can't just live however you want. You can't just do whatever you want. You can't be a Vitalik. You have to actually adapt to the way those people are. Just think about it. Wouldn't it be pretty freaking amazing to kind of navigate without much problem through unfamiliar places because you've learned to observe and understand the little differences in culture. Your experience would be a lot better if you did that. Being curious is very important when you want to travel, and you got to have that childlike curiosity where you're always you're in a state of wonder and you're trying to learn why things are the way they are. So guys, what is the lesson of this? What can I say the lesson is? What I would like for y'all to understand from this video is that curiosity, it helped you become a better traveler and it helped you become a better person. You want to be able to be curious and to have more empathy. It'll give you more knowledge. It'll give you more power to understand the world around you, because the world around you is not always what you think it is. It's not always what your brain processes. You have to try to understand how the world works. That will make you a better person. It'll teach you to respect and have humility and be open-minded. That's one of the great things. Don't be so open-minded that your brains fall out, but be open-minded to at least maybe learn something new, or at least try to understand. That's the main thing. When I say be open-minded, I don't mean that you just believe everything, but you will at least have an understanding of why people are the way they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. That can move conversation forward to have more discussions. And then you realize that the world is huge and it's so diverse, and that diversity is beautiful. That diversity, people think that is what separates us, but that diversity, I feel, is what brings us together, because we can talk and communicate with one another and try to understand each other. Diversity is not something that I think separates us. It brings us together to understand the whole world, because people from somewhere else may know something you don't know, or you may know something they don't know, and you can come together and discuss that. That's one of the beautiful things about the International Space Station, is that it's countries from around the world that work on the International Space Station. It's not just the US. I have some issues with what they're doing with China, but I can understand why they're doing that. But other than that, it's bringing those people together, different cultures, different understandings, and communicating with one another so that we can go farther into space, so that we can understand outer space. So curiosity, it shows how diverse but how connected we really are. Now, you've got to unlock that curiosity. Ask yourself, are you ready to go beyond being just another tourist? Are you prepared to embrace curiosity and transform your travels? If you're ready for that, comment below. Let us know. Let us know that you're ready to transform your life with curiosity. Let's have a discussion. I love talking to you guys in my comments. And if you're inspired to dive deeper into your next adventure, hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Let us know you're ready. And if you found this video helpful at all, and you think it might help somebody else, share it with them so they can see what it means to be curious. And remember, guys, the next time you step off the plane into a new land, let curiosity lead the way. And I see you all in the next video. Know that you are valuable and that you matter. God bless. Peace.